Hey everyone, it's Mr. Wobbler94. I hope you're doing well today. I have a book haul for you from Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. Technically some other places outside of Tennessee, or later parts of Tennessee. A little bit out of the way. On the way home I found a great store that I've loved for 2 years now since I went on my honeymoon, and somebody else told me about this particular store in Tennessee. But anyway, I will get there when I get there. This is a book haul of a lot of cool horror books I found from two particular authors, are all I really bought. I got a couple of Goosebumps books. I don't have that in the video, but I got the two newest Slappy World books, just so you know. However, the only places I got these books from were, well, there's kind of three stops here. There's a couple from Books A Million, which I'll show you the first two. That's those two, along with the Slappy World books I don't have in this video. And then I have another store that I love deeply in Tennessee that I talked about. I'm not going to tell you the name because it's a big hot spot for things that I can find once a year when I go to Tennessee. It's great. I love it. I highly recommend it. The other thing, the last set of books, came from the internet. It came from eBay for one particular writer that I've been trying to collect everything from. It's going to be impossible, but I'm going to try. So anyway, let's start off with the first book. As I went to Books A Million, I was walking around in Books A Million in Tennessee, in Pigeon Forge, and there's not many bookstores out there. You'd be surprised, being a bigger city, you'd think there'd be more. There is not. However, as I walked around out there, I started to look through the horror section, which is kind of in the dead middle of this store, and I couldn't really find anything I wanted right now. I wanted a decent deal on something and not have to pay $17 for a 200-page or 300-page or even 400-page book. It's insane. The tall paperbacks are some bullshit. But anyway, as I walked around, I went to another general fiction section, and I found leftover stuff from Stephen King, Dean Koontz, those guys, my big favorites like Jonathan Mayberry, Brian Keene. However, I didn't find anything I didn't own, and then as I turned around, I went further down the aisle, I found Bentley Little hardcovers, dude. I nearly lost my mind. I was so excited about this. This one in particular, mind you, both of these hardcovers were $6. Now I have Bentley Little paperbacks that I've spent easily $20 a piece on, because for some reason they're hard to come by. I don't know why, but that's in the past, but still, it's getting harder and harder to find good copies of his books with a decent price. You know, it's kind of garbage. Anyway, this particular book I've been looking for a long time. I've heard about this. I believe there's a YouTube channel that I watch a lot called Horror Novel Reviews. He's a British fellow. He does a lot of Richard Lehman, a couple of Stephen King reviews, a lot of classical stuff you know about, Bentley Little especially. A lot of this video, by the way, is going to be Bentley Little stuff because I'm a big Bentley Little fan now. The more I've read of him, the more I've really loved, especially The Resort, which is my more recent review. Anyway, so this collection I'm fairly certain he reviewed at some point. It's a short story collection of horror stories, and I can't wait to read it. It's called The Collection. It is a hardcover for $6, dude. Couldn't believe it. Could not absolutely believe this. And I love this cover, too, with the skull and the candle and the gun and the tarot card. Let's see. How many pages is this book, by the way? Roughly 450, somewhere in that ballpark. I can't tell you how excited I was because I've never seen a Bentley Little hardcover in person. The Collection, though, is what I'm excited about. This one I haven't heard much great about. Might be a surprise, I don't know. Maybe it'll be a book that I love and everybody else doesn't really care about enough to talk about it. I don't know. The horror community book reviews on YouTube are a weird thing. It's either all Stephen King or it's nothing, nada. Anyway, this is called The Policy. Very bland cover, in my personal opinion. Usually I don't read the blurbs on the back of the books. If I know it's a short story collection, I know it's a short story collection. If it's a regular novel, I know it's a regular novel. But a lot of the time, unless it's something I'm more familiar with, I go into books knowing nothing about them at all whatsoever. This one is, I don't have a clue. I just know it's Bentley Little, who I love, and I hope it's good. At some point I plan on reviewing it, so we'll see what happens with that. This one is roughly about 290 pages. That's fairly short for anybody that I read, you know? Anyway, that's The Policy. Moving along to the big store that I buy a lot of stuff in. Oh, by the way, I thought I bought a copy of the Black Phone, like, short story collection that I knew it came out of from Joe Hill. I don't have that copy on me right now, but I bought it and then happened to notice when I got back to the house from Books A Million with all these things I picked up, it says at the bottom of that book that it's part of 20th Century Ghosts, which I own a copy of. I have the original paperback for that. So I'm kind of pissed about that. It's kind of bullshit. Anyway, moving along. So I went to the other store I talked about in Tennessee that I love deeply. It has so many things. Video games. I bought so many video games at this particular store. I can't even begin to tell you. They have movies. They have everything you could possibly want. Toys. All kinds of stuff. Music. CDs. When do you find places who sell CDs anymore? Aside from like an FYE type of thing who just takes all your money. You know, not to insult them. They're making money where they want to because they can. But still, it kind of sucks. It's hard to find CDs anywhere that are good, different, non-mainstream sometimes. And even if they are mainstream, you can find like Judas Priest and stuff. Anyway, so I found a particular store that I love from 2 years ago. I've been going there every year when I leave Tennessee, when we go to Tennessee. And I found basically 3 different Bentley Little paperbacks and 1 Richard Lehman paperback that I am super stoked about. This one right here is Bentley Little. It's a great cover, but I have stickers on these books that I hope to get off at some point, but I'm always terrified to try to remove these because of that. The Revelation. And just because you can't see anything, that's supposed to be a church in there. Let me try to make that up. It's beautiful. I really like that cover. It's one of his best covers I ever saw, in my personal opinion. I don't know anything about it. I assume it's involving maybe a fake healer, whatever you want to call him, something like that. This book is roughly 325 pages long. I hope it's good, man. This could be one of those really good ones I don't know anything about, but I have a lot of faith in. Now, this one right here I don't have a whole lot of faith in. The title alone just kind of made me feel like, you know, this could really suck. This one is another Bentley Little book. It's called The Walking. Like The Walking Dead, but without the dead. Anyway, The Walking. Very, very unimpressive cover. Not just because of the sticker, just unimpressive cover. I believe with the shadows there are people walking. I don't know. Not super excited about that, but it is Bentley Little, and maybe it'll be something really, really great. You never know. You could have a big home run with his books. I always liked The Haunting, and I always loved, recently, The Resort. Now, The House, I read The House, and I reviewed it here on the channel. I think it's the first ever book review I did on this channel, and it sucked. It was terrible. This book is about 370 pages long. Fairly decent size. I hope it's good. I really hope it's good. I bought it because it's Bentley Little. He's one of those writers I'll pick up anything from. Now this next cover here, man, this is one I'm really excited about as well. Another Bentley Little book, probably one of his best covers as well. I wish the sticker would be off of it, but it is The Return. Look at this friggin' sick skull-looking thing. I wish I could have gotten these stickers off fast enough before I did the video, but I love the reflective little shiny lettering or whatever this is. It's embossed and everything. And then you have the silver outline of the actual cover and on the spine and all that. It's beautiful. I really, really love this cover here, man. I'm assuming this is like a vampire thing. I just get that vampire vibe off of the cover and the title. I assume it's going to be something like that. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't really care if I am wrong, as long as it's good. As I said, 350 or so pages, 354. Seems to be the last one at the end of the epilogue. Hope it's a good one. Really want to read it. Now, moving along to my boy, Richard Lehman, who I love deeply. This one I saw last year, and I thought I already had it, and I went ahead and did not grab it until this time around. Thank God it was there. Last time I was there at this particular store, they had about 3 or 4 copies of this, and I found this one this time, and I was so thankful. It's marked down to $2.50, dude. This one is called After Midnight. I have not read this before, I know nothing about it, and I hope it's good. It's Richard Lehman, though. Most of the time I have a really great time reading his stuff. Very fast-paced, very fun. Let me see how many pages this one is as well. Roughly 440, somewhere in there. But I'm a Lehman collector. I do really kind of consider myself a Lehman apologist. I really love his work. In some ways I like him more than Stephen King. He's kind of less of an ideas man, but more of a better execution man, if you will. Anyway, moving along, I have 2 more books that are the final of the list that came from eBay together in one selling, and I am so excited about these. I can't even tell you about them. Again, my friend Horror Novel Reviews, the British fellow that I mentioned a moment ago, did a review on both of these books together. I haven't seen them yet, haven't seen that video yet, because I usually don't watch anything or read anything about a book until I'm done, or a movie or anything for that matter, unless I absolutely don't give a shit. In this case, I do. This is a dual set. I'm going to show you the first one, and then I'll show you the second one. The first one is a Richard Lehman book. So is the other one, just as a spoiler. The first one is called Dreadful Tales. Now, if you don't know this, if you happen to be a Lehman collector, Lehman wrote short stories sometimes. I think there's only 2 collections out there, and I just so happened to buy both of them together, and it was very cheap. It was like 20 bucks. I was super stoked about this. $10 for 2 Lehman books I've never seen on the shelves, ever. Even back in the day when they weren't that hard to find. I never saw these. I saw things like All Hallows Eve, Resurrection Dreams, things like that, Funland. Never saw these. But this cover is kind of one of those older, not so impressive covers of Lehman where the name is enormous. It's bigger than James Patterson's. And then you have like a cool little side cover up here that's like a, 25% of the entire cover. Dreadful Tales, though, short story collection. As I said, I don't really know what's in here. Let me see the short stories listed. Looks like there's probably 15, 20, something like that. Seems like they average about 15 or 20 pages a piece. It's pretty cool. I hope it's good. I hope it's really good. I love extreme horror. I really do. I love, what is the more extreme slasher stuff? What is that called? Splatterpunk. I love splatterpunk. Lehman's kind of the OG of splatterpunk in my personal opinion. This is about 450 pages, and I really can't wait to see what my man does with a short story collection. With some extreme horror, some splatterpunk, some gore, rape, all that stuff he puts in his books. I cannot wait to see what this dude does with this. However, the twin book, the other, I think the only other short story collection from Mr. Lehman himself, is called Out Are the Lights. What a great title, and what a great cover, man. I can't wait to read this one, too. Super stoked about it. Looks like this is more of a British copy, too, from what I can tell on the back. Just has United Kingdom and Australia money listed on there. This thing was 16 bucks in Australia, dude. Are you kidding me? So looking at the box contents, whatever here, this must be more of like a novella set, I assume. There's only about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stories in here. And one of them is The Tub, by the way, the one that the horrible short movie was based on. If you've ever seen The Tub, oh my god, you have no idea. You have, sir, no idea. The Tub. It's, I can't believe it's in here. I didn't even notice that when I opened up the book originally when I got it last week. So, I'm excited about this. Super, super, super excited about it. Can't wait to do reviews on it as well. By the way, this particular copy is about 350 pages. Not as long as the Dreadful Tales one, but I'm still super, super excited for this. What are your thoughts on these 2 writers, Bentley Little and Richard Lehman, and also Joe Hill and R.L. Stine, I guess, too, because technically they're part of this haul, but kind of not. There was no reason to show the Black Phone book here, because I technically already own that, and, I haven't read it yet, so what's the point? I did read the Black Phone short story in that, though, and it was fine. I hope the movie's a lot better. I hope the movie can really take advantage of expansion on that. That story really needed to be expanded upon. Not a novel, but maybe a novelette. You know what I mean? It didn't need to be 30 pages long. It just wasn't enough, in my personal opinion. But anyway, we'll get there one of these days to review that, God willing. What are your thoughts on all of these books here? Have you read any of these? Do you love any of these? Let me know all that down below, too. Please don't spoil anything. I am not a fan of spoilers at all, unless I'm giving them. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. God bless you. Go to Tennessee if you've never been to Tennessee. It's a great place. God bless you once again. Goodbye.